I'm fishing in the middle of the day, bright sun, crystal clear water. Hi, my name's Roger Osborne. I've had a good look at this beach and there's really only one spot I reckon there's going to be fish today, which is right here. So I'm actually excited. The water looks really good, and even though it's the middle of the day, I expect to catch some good fish. So make sure that you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I really appreciate it. It helps my channel. So let's start fishing. It's a little wave coming, but I think we're going to be right. Look at the size of this guy. What a cracker. Look at him. Look how fat this guy is. He's a ripper. He's all coiled up like a snake. Look at that, he's coiled up like a snake. I've got a 2-hook rig, so I'm just going to put a worm on my top hook. One of the worms I just caught a little bit earlier. I've got him crumbed in some sand so he's not too slippery. Oh, there he goes. Opens his mouth. I'm going to thread him on the hook. I'm trying to keep the hook in the centre of the worm. That's why I'm just being a little bit careful. I want to keep it in the middle of the worm. Then I'm going to pull him up over the eye of the hook, up onto the line. I want a nice big worm bait today. So this guy is going to be a good 4 or 5 inches long. And I'm going to do something a little bit different. I caught a couple of crabs while I was worming, because very often the crabs are attracted to the bait. So I've got a crab here. Crabby business. This is how you grab a crab, a safe way, whether it's a big crab or a little crab. You always approach the crab from behind, and with this size crab I can just actually put my finger on his shell like so. Then I'm going to slide my 2 other fingers around and hold him just above his back legs like that. This way he won't be able to bite me. So I can hold him like that. I'm pretty safe. You never approach from the front, of course, otherwise you'll get nailed and he'll draw blood. I'm going to put a crab on as my bottom bait. Be interesting to see, be really exciting to catch something on this crab. So I've actually got my hook with a stinger. I wasn't planning for it. You can see all the meat and the flesh that I've exposed. I'm just going to put the barb in there like that. I think I'm going to leave that stinger hook just floating and just put the crab bait on like that. And I'm going to whack him out, and it looks really good out there because I've got an awesome sandbar, really pretty close to the shore. And just this side of the sandbar, it's actually quite deep. So it drops off into a deep hole with some lovely white water and wash just there. So I aim to get my bait just on the edge of where it drops off that sandbar. And it'll be really interesting to see if anything takes that crab. I don't want to put too much effort into the cast because I don't really want the crab to fall off. I think it should stay on okay. Just going to wander down and wait for a little break in the waves, even though the seas are pretty flat. Just want to make sure that I get my bait in the zone where I would like it to be. So I'm always pinching a few extra meters on the shore when I cast. I wait for a gap in between the waves and then get here and then scurry out before. Okay, so yeah, that's perfect. That's the perfect spot where I wanted it to be, actually. Be interesting to see how long it takes to get a bite. I'm going to put it in a rod holder. I'm just pulling the sinker out of the sand. Just check my drag. Set the drag a little bit lighter, just a little bit too heavy. And I'm hoping some fish are swimming around the edge of that sandbar where the waves hit it and crash on it, and then it just washes over the edge. That the fish skirt around the edge of that drop off, waiting for any food to get washed in. I like to set the drag on my reel when I put it in here as a set line. I actually don't go through the process at home of using some scales and setting my drag to a particular kilo rating based on the line. I just do it by feel. So I just loosen off the top of the reel. I'll pull it a bit, that just feels a little bit too loose. What I'm trying to do is I would like the fish to have the ability to pull line, but they need to actually make an effort to be able to pull the line. I don't want it rock hard, because otherwise if something really runs with it, it can't take any line at all. You know, it may break the line or may pull the hooks. So I want it to be able to take line, but under a little bit of pressure. So really I just pull it and feel it. I think, yeah, that's a reasonable amount of pressure. I'm happy with that. I just keep it simple and do it that way. And then if, for example, I hook a big fish and it's really peeling line out while I'm holding my rod, I can always just adjust it just a little bit, make it a little bit tighter, a little bit harder for the fish, or loosen it if necessary. Oh, I'm getting a bite. Getting a bite, definitely. Swimming towards me, actually. Wow, it's swimming towards me. Yep, ooh. Nice. Whoa, a little bit of weight in that. So that's first cast. I need to tighten my drag, actually. So that's first cast, just off the back of that sandbar. It's probably a salmon, as often happens here, but yeah, it's swimming towards me very quickly. I haven't seen it jump yet, but it feels like a salmon, so yeah, it's, oh, there it is. A little bit of a jump on the edge. So that's interesting to see, actually. My crab bait is gone. So something has liked the crab and the salmon has taken the worm. Oh, just grab him. Now we eat a lot of fish at home. We love our fish, and as usual we don't have any left. So this guy is going to be either done with a beer batter or made into Thai fish cakes. I've mentioned the Thai fish cakes again. So I think I've tortured you guys enough about the Thai fish cakes. So I'm making that video in the next day or so. I'll be putting it up as a midweek video, and it'll come with a PDF with all the details on how to make the Thai fish cakes. I know that you really enjoy them. There's a couple of different ways you can make them, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so that you know when the video's coming and you can download the PDF. Look at this delicious sand crab. Something's going to like that. I might pin him both ways this time, just so he potentially stays on a little bit better. Then I need a bit more worm. This piece of worm, it's about 30 centimetres long, costs about $7 to buy. So it certainly is awesome when you can learn that skill and then have it for the rest of your life. This looks really interesting out here. Okay, well that'll do. That'll do. See what happens next. A lot of people ask me about fishing with soft plastics from the beach. Hang on, oh, fair dinkum, look at that. So much for that. Yeah, I got him. It'll probably be on the worm bait, I think. Be interesting to see if the crab bait has been taken. It's giving me a little bit of curry. They certainly are good fighters, these fish. Come on, let's go. I still had my crab bait, it just fell off. So I'm going to keep that. I'll put that bit of crab back on. And so that's 1 p.m. in the afternoon and 2 fish, 2 casts. So anyway, it's pretty good. I'm just rebaiting. A lot of people have been asking me about lure fishing from the beach and soft plastics. So today I'm using my light beach rod, which I normally use, you know, with the worms, etc. And I brought down some soft plastics. I'm just going to rinse this, get the sand off my fingers. All I've done, this particular one's got a paddle tail. Actually looks like a small mullet. So I'm going to flick this soft plastic out into the gutter there. It looks like a good spot for it. Now the jig head that I have, this is actually 3/4 of an ounce. You can see it. It says it on that jig head. I've chosen a 3/4 of an ounce jig head because off the beach I do need to be able to get a little bit of distance when I'm casting. And that's just a mid-range size soft plastic. It's probably about 11 centimetres long. And the hook is a 4/0. So it's a 4/0, 3/4 of an inch jig head. I'm just going to put it on here. I'm going to put the hook in the front, right in the middle. Actually, what I'll do is I'm going to line that up to see about where it needs to come out. So the hook needs to come out just past this black dot. So I'm going to put this guy in the end here. Squeeze him on straight if I can, and let's see if hang on, no, it's not in the middle. So I'll try that. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. It's got a little bit of a wobble in it, but I don't think that's going to make much difference. So you can see you've got the hook there. So I'm going to toss this guy out. I purposely haven't chucked my other line back out again because I'll probably get a bite really quickly. Well, let's just see what happens with this guy if I catch a salmon or something else. So I'm just going to flick it out. What I've done is this is one of my snapper reels when I fish out in the ocean just with floating baits. It's actually it's a Sedona. It's got 20-pound braid on it. So the braid is not ultra heavy, but my main focus today was getting distance in casting. I wanted a relatively light rod. This rod's 10 foot long. I'd prefer to use the lighter braid. If I hook a decent fish, I should be able to land it no problem on 20-pound braid, but it'll give me the ability to cast a little bit better. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how I go with my distance, if I get in the zone where I want to be. I'm aiming for that white water on the edge of the drop off. Just going to give it a little flick. Yeah, that's pretty good. I pretty much landed. I'm just letting that sink to the bottom. Then I'm just going to give it a bit of a jiggle. I'm just doing it a little bit similar to what you do for flathead. Just going to jiggle it around a bit. I almost landed on the sandbar then. Ideally, I'd like to get another 5 metres further than what I just got. So what would I be likely to catch? Obviously a salmon. Maybe a tailor if there's some tailor around at this time of the day. flathead, or if there happen to be some mulloway sniffing around in there. Now I'm getting back towards the shore, and it's really clear near the edge here, so I'm just going to wind it in. You know, I've got a couple of options. I can do the lift and drop method, or I can actually do a bit of a slow retrieve because that paddle tail's really going like that. So I'll just see if I can get out a little bit further. Just got to put in a hard cast. I landed right in the white water then. I'm going to try winding it in a little bit more this time. Because if there's a predatory fish out there and they can see that little thing, I think it's worth a few casts. I just saw a fish follow it. I think it might have been a small flathead. I saw a brownie coloured fish follow it in. Okay. Good spot. It'd be so good to get a hit. Okay, my last two baits have landed in the same location, so I'm going to cast a little bit to the left or to the right, and not in exactly the same spot. I can see the action of that paddle tail. It looks really good. I'm just winding this one in like I would a hard body, because that paddle tail works really good. All right, back out again. Back into that white water. So I think that's 4 or 5 casts. I haven't had a hit yet. So what I think I'll do is I think I'll toss my bait line out, leave it out there, and while it's out there, I'll play with this. So a southerly wind has just hit actually. There wasn't much wind before, it's only just hit now. You can see the surface of the water is a lot more ruffled, you might be able to hear the wind. So I'm still going to have a few casts. I just had a bit of a go with the soft plastics, that'd be useless now because it's just too windy. I wouldn't make any headway casting into it, unfortunately. I had about maybe 7 or 8 casts. I was sort of getting in the zone, but I didn't get a hit. I think I had a flathead about a foot long follow me in near the shore. But I'm going to actually just keep my line out just for a few minutes into this southerly, because sometimes that can be a good time to fish. I mean, I was getting bites every cast prior to that, but we'll just see how we go with this wind now. It might not last long, I don't know. We'll wait and see. I'm just walking about 100 metres down the beach. The southerly's hit, but there's a lovely little sudsy area here, pretty close to shore with a bit of a deep trough. I think it's worth a couple of casts with the soft plastic. So it's about 100 metres from where I've been camped. If a fish takes my other line, well, it'll just have to look after itself and swim around and wait for me to come back. But you can see just here where I'm walking into the wind, but yeah, I can't leave that alone. I've got to put a couple of casts in there. Now, I'm going to actually cast a little bit upwind because I expect it to be blown back a bit, and I'm going to need to cast low and flat to try and avoid the wind a bit. Looks like the sandbar here is a little bit closer to shore than the one down there. Got to go this way a little bit more. So this will be a bit of a sideways flat cast. I just felt like I had a hit. What the heck? No way. I had three whacks, like really hard. I've lost everything. I felt it go bang, bang. You know what I reckon it is? Because I've still got my leader. It must be Big Tailor. Because whatever has smashed my soft plastic just there has completely bitten through the line. I'll just have a look. Okay, so you can see here's my leader. The leader's, I think, only 25 pound fluorocarbon. Look at that, it's just cleanly bitten off. Now I'm actually going to whack another plastic on straight away. So how's that? I had a few casts down there, nothing. First cast there, I got smashed. So I'm going to get down here and quickly get back out there again. It all still looks good. I haven't had another hit. It was amazing. I threw out in this spot before and it just got bitten off. I felt a couple of hard whacks on the line and I was leaning into it, but I couldn't feel any weight because whatever it was, it swallowed the whole thing and cleanly bitten the line off. So I thought it was worth a few more casts, so I will do that. The water looks really good. If the wind wasn't so strong, it'd be a lot easier. It's getting a reasonable cast in, but I'm getting a big bow in my line. I'm getting a reasonable flat cast in, but there's a big bow in the line from the wind, even though it's braid. And there's a nice drop off out there. I think perhaps what happened before is that there was a school of fish swimming through and I just happened to land it in. That's why walking up and down the beach and prospecting, doing this sort of fishing, is the best thing to do. So I may have a couple more casts back down where my other rod is, just to see if anything's moved down there. So I have one more cast here, then I'm going to head back down to where my other line is. Wind is a little bit blustery, but the fish don't know the difference underneath the water. That wind is affecting my casting a little bit. I'm losing a little bit of distance. And I did have a double bait there with a half pilchard, which is going to actually catch the wind a bit. Would like to have got maybe another 5 or 10 metres further out. Because the water really close to the shore here is super clear. But on the edge of that sandbar, it's really good. Now my line is going like that. Yeah, it feels like another salmon. It's going up the beach a bit. This is good because it can add to my fish cakes tally. It just got off. That was a good sized salmon. It just got off. It was obviously on my pilchard bait. I can see there was a bigger fish than the other ones. I would like to keep that because it just gives me a little bit more volume of flesh for my fish cake. So I'm going to whack it back out there and get another one. I don't have my knife with me, so I'm just going to use my thumb to break that filly. Yeah, it was a bigger fish. Obviously wasn't hooked all that well. So he took the pilchard instead of the worm. I've still got a nice worm bait on the top, so I'll put that back out there. We haven't been down here very long, really. Yep, that's where I want to get. It landed in the water, was there for about 20 seconds. Well, actually, look at that. That's a lovely bream. Look at him. What a beauty. I think I might have to stay here. I think I might have to stay here a little bit longer. Look at that guy. He's a lovely bream. Oh man, that was so quick. I threw my line out there and once again, as soon as it hit the water, just getting smashed. Last cast was a bream. I don't think this is. Yeah. Now, interesting, my top worm bait is gone and there's no hook. I've got a salmon on the pilchard bait, but I've got no hook on where I had my top bait. It just goes to show you, we've got a lovely sandbar really close to shore or within casting distance with just a nice little deep gutter in front of it. It's blowing a southerly, but there's a lot of fish out there. It's just one of those little worms I caught. It's only relatively small, but it's big enough for one good bait. I'll put him on there and then I'll grab another pilchard. I'm just going to break the top end off that pilchard. I'll leave the guts hanging out. That can be like a little trailer, a little tester for the fish if the guts happen to stay on during the cast. Maybe I'll pin that there like that and go with that, do that loop. Like that. Beautiful, look at that. Just got to wash all the goop off my hands now. Alrighty, let's get out there. That wind's slowing it down a little bit. I think I would have been a little bit better casting on an angle into the wind. My bait was spinning around in the wind, and while I got out in an okay spot, I would like to be closer to that white water. Ideally. I'm almost tempted to cast it out again. I'll just wait a couple of minutes. And if I don't get a bite, I'm going to chuck it out again. If you look at this beach where I'm fishing, there's a sandbar really close to shore here where I've had really heaps of bites in a short period of time, got bitten off on the soft plastic. If we look down the beach, you'll see there's one other sandbar and then there's nothing. It's just green water all the way to the end of the beach. Hang on, I'm just getting a little bit of a nibble, I think. Yep, hang on. Yep, here we go. Waiting, waiting. Yeah, we've got a fish. It could be another bream. Don't think it's a salmon, although it's going sideways like a salmon, so yeah, it is. A bit smaller. I was about to say, for a kilometre or so that way down the beach, there's virtually no structure at all. It's just green water. There's a sandbar about 100 metres that way where I was fishing initially, and then there's a sandbar just here that's probably only 50 metres, 40, 50 metres from the shore. It's got some lovely white water, and that's where the fish are. They're in that mushed up white water on the edge of the deep water. Yeah. That's great fun when you're getting consistent bites. And that southerly, the fish don't know the difference. This guy's got a little bit of weight in him. Just wondering whether it's two fish and not one. I'm going to come down nice and close to the edge because, yeah. There's a little bit more going on with this. It's either a bigger salmon or possibly more than one. Hopefully my leaders hold out. It's pulling a little bit of line occasionally. Okay, we're getting a bit closer to shore now. So is it one fish or two? We're going to need the help of the wave. What's going on? Oh, there's only one fish. Wow. He's a little bit bigger. I've lost my top hook again. I can hardly get my hands around him. He's really, really super fat. Actually, look at the hook that's got him, the little baby one. You know, my top hook's gone again. So either I've had two salmon on and one at the top's broken off because it's a clean cut, or perhaps the tailor has taken the worm and bitten it off. I don't know. That rind is difficult to cast into. Man, that didn't take long. Have I still got any bait left? That's the question. I'm trying to cast a bit low and flat to avoid the wind, but those pilchard baits are spinning in the air. I think I might need to pull it in and put a new bait on because I had a bite straight away. Actually, both my baits are pretty much gone. So, it's awesome. Having a great time down here. It's blowing a southerly, but it's not that cold. Admittedly, I've got a t-shirt on under this shirt. They're liking the pilchards. My keeper hook is a little bit bent from that last salmon. It's a little bit bent out of shape. Hopefully it still works. I tried to bend it back without success. These sort of conditions, you can just about catch anything. Thankfully, the sea's not big. I want to get down a little bit further. Just go. Yeah, that's it. Cast into that wind a little bit more. See how long it takes to get a bite. I'm going to test my drag. Yep, here we go. That was maybe about 30 seconds. Okay, so I'm coming down here. I've got to follow the fish down the beach. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. This is not easy. Come on. Whew. So there's two salmon at once. I'm using 20-pound line on this rod. I've upgraded from 15-pound line because sometimes it doesn't cope. And I'm really loving this rod. It's a 12-footer, super light, it's fantastic. So some of you guys like to know what I'm using. This is what this rod is. It's fantastic. I really love it. It's a really light beach rod, 12 foot long. I have one of these in a 10-foot model, and I've been using that the last couple of years. Really enjoyed the smaller one, the 10-footer, so I thought I'm going to get a 12-footer. But this is a great rod. I'm tempted to get another one and have two of these, actually. Well, I got down here just after 1 p.m. with bright sunshine, clear water, just a really light offshore breeze, really pleasant conditions, and then this southerly hit, all these clouds appeared. But I kept fishing because I know often when it doesn't make any difference to the fish under the water, all that ruffling on the surface, and often it's very good for the fish. So, and it proved to be the case because every single time I cast my line in the water, I'm getting smashed. Although it was really strategic where I was fishing on the beach because there was only a couple of spots with really nice water, with that beautiful sandbar close to shore, the white water dropping off into a nice deep trough. It really is a winner. Doesn't matter whether it's the middle of the day, early morning, just seems to work every time. So I've had an awesome session down here, very happy with my catch, caught plenty of fish. So make sure that you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next video.